Hello everyone, you join me here from Glasgow, Scotland on a cold Sunday morning. It's currently 7:30 in the morning, but I've arrived here in Glasgow for a massive game, a massive derby game, but it's probably not the derby you're thinking of. You see, if I was to mention to you the Glasgow Derby, I'm sure 99.9% of you would think of Rangers versus Celtic, the Old Firm derby, one of the most famous derbies, not only here in Scotland, but in world football. However, as infamous as the Old Firm is, it's technically not the original Glasgow Derby. That would be Queen's Park, Scotland's oldest club, versus Rangers, Scotland's most successful club. And today, for the first time since August 2014, the two teams meet. The last meeting was here at Hampden Park in 2014, where Rangers went on to win 2-1 in the Scottish League Cup. So, forget your Old Firm, forget Hibs versus Hearts, forget Dundee United, forget Kilmarnock Ayr. Today is Derby Day. Welcome to the channel and welcome to Glasgow's original derby. Now, probably the biggest benefit of getting here at 7:30 in the morning is the fact that I've got all the time in the world to have a little look around Glasgow. I've been here a couple of times before, but never this early in the morning. So I'm just currently walking along the River Clyde peacefully, no one harassing me. And with all that free time in my hands, it's time to do a little bit of exploring. So I am heading somewhere, or I'm pretty much arriving somewhere I've always wanted to go. And here, just where I'm walking out to now, is Cathkin Park. Have a look at this. This is an abandoned football stadium that once hosted the original Glasgow Derby. This place, look at this old terrace in here. Wow, the old railings. This is unreal. Wow. Now, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, this was the home to Queen's Park. This was their home before Hampden Park. And the reason they left this ground was simply because they wanted their own ground. This place hosted Scotland international games, hosted cup finals, and it had a capacity of 50,000. Could you imagine 50,000 people today being here? I really could not. Now, this place wasn't where the first original Glasgow Derby happened, but the majority of the most prominent derbies that happened in the late 1800s happened right here at Cathkin Park. And it was around the 1900s where the Old Firm really started to outshine this derby and became the proper derby that everyone thinks of today. Now, the life of this ground was actually very, very short. In 1884, this ground was opened for Queen's Park, who played their first game here in a boring 0-0 draw against Dumbarton. Here is part of football history, and the fact that nature over the years has taken over this stadium is absolutely crazy. I don't think you can get any more Scottish if you tried. You've got a bottle of Buckfast here in the abandoned stadium, the former home of Queen's Park and the Scottish national team. Look at this part here as well. As you can see, all the bushes and trees have just completely overgrown this terrace. Here, you can't even see any steps. You've obviously got the sideline terrace there that has stood the test of time, I would say, but the corners and this part here. And while there's a lot of original Glasgow derbies would have happened here, the first ever Old Firm Cup final happened right here as well. So a derby that seems to happen every single week. If you're not an Old Firm fan, the first ever cup final between Rangers and Celtic happened right here. And while just a couple of hundred yards away from Cathkin Park lies Scotland's new home, Queen's Park's new home, Hampden Park. And while over recent years, Queen's Park were meant to move here to Lesser Hampden, and I see what the issue is. They were meant to move from there to there. You see, pre-lockdown, Queen's Park averaged attendances here of around 500 to 600, and while the ground was not seen to be big enough, they were going to move here to Lesser Hampden. This saw them play in Falkirk and a couple of other stadiums, but they did play a couple of games here at Lesser Hampden. But now, at the start of this season, they moved back into Hampden Park. They're averaging just over 1,700. So very, very decent attendances for a championship side. But you've got to remember that this stadium holds over 50,000. I know Queen's Park are Scotland's oldest club. They are Scotland's original club. They're not Scotland's most supported club, especially when you've got Rangers and Celtic and even Partick Thistle in the same city. It must be very difficult to attract new fans. But I'm sure today is an absolute massive day for Queen's Park, as it is Derby day over at Ibrox. I'm not sure what the crowd will be like, but I'm sure the travelling fans will be absolutely buzzing to head over to Ibrox. Anyway, back in the centre of Glasgow, a little bit busier than earlier on today. I've gone to the subway now, and I'm on my way to the ground. Well then, around about an hour away from kick-off, and we have arrived at Ibrox Stadium. Well, for those that don't know, this is one of my favourite stadiums. I think I actually said last year that it is my favourite stadium, and I've got to say it's at least in the top 3, so I'm absolutely buzzing to be back here. Just like that, we're here in Ibrox Stadium very, very early, around about an hour and a half before kick-off. I got here at 2 thinking it was about an hour, and then I remembered it's a half-free kick-off today. Really not sure what sort of crowd to expect today, to be fair. Rangers got about 35,000 at their previous game against the Scottish non-league team. Obviously, this is a derby, but like I've said, it's not seen as the big derby for Rangers fans. So I'm really not sure, especially as well with the Rangers fans at the moment have not been happy with ownership and manager Philippe Lamont. Anyway, got myself a doner kebab pie. This is the second of the 42 that I'll be trying their doner kebab pies. Well then, here we are, moments away from kick-off here. In honesty, on paper, a championship side versus a premiership side, a pretty decent turnout for a cup game. You've got the Queen's Park fans over in that corner as well. They've got a little drum down there. There you go then, kick off here at Ibrox. Only chance for Rangers. Oh, straight over the bar. Another chance for Rangers down the right hand side, crossed in. Header at the far post and a good catch from the keeper. Well, you've got the Queen's Park ultras bouncing over there, about 10 of them. I mean, in the Rangers end, the atmosphere is not as good as I've experienced in the past. I mean, Union Bears to my left are singing quite a lot. Well, half an hour in, a very, very slow start for both teams. Rangers have had the majority of possession. The Queen's Park have held them off really, really well. Haji, bigger man. Good chance. Don't know what's going on here. Queen's Park have held Rangers off really well all half. Queen's Park are just holding out for that one chance, and if they get it, they could really punish Rangers at the moment. How many chances do Rangers need in this game? They have dominated. We're nearly at half time, and it's still goalless. As for a derby, it's still a bit of a weird one. I mean, the atmosphere's been pretty decent from these home fans. Well, at least the Union Bears anyway. And there's been a group of the away fans that are singing, but everywhere else in the ground seems pretty mute, to be honest. Even the section I'm in, just a couple of blocks away from the ultras. Rangers are crying out for a goal before half time. Bigger man going for the cross. It's another corner. There you go, half time. Cheers from the Queen's Park end. What a dire first half that was. It just doesn't feel like a derby game. I understand that this isn't seen as a big derby for Rangers anymore. But just, I don't know, everything felt a bit flat first half either way. It's an absolute dire first half. Both teams are back out. Cyril Dessers and Nico Raskin have come on, so hopefully Rangers have a little bit more bite coming forward. Either way, we did hear a big cheer at half time from the Queen's Park fans. Imagine if they could get to 90 minutes at 0-0. I know I've mentioned how bad Rangers have been, especially throughout the first half, but I feel like I don't think I've seen Queen's Park in that 18-yard box of Rangers all game. We're what, 53 minutes in now. Here's Queen's Park on the attack. Skips past him, and it's a corner. Look at that cheer for a corner. Another thing about the derby as well, and I know I mentioned that there's not much animosity here. This is Glasgow's original derby. But these two teams don't really have much animosity between each other, which is very weird. Like, it's the first derby I've been to where both teams aren't just constantly singing about each other. Meanwhile, there's a couple of youth players that started. They've been replaced by senior players now. That's when you know that the manager's taking things really seriously and have not been up to scratch today. It's a cross. It's way too much. There's a corner for Rangers. Header. Oh, it's a great save from the keeper. It's another cross, Tavernier. Queen's Park again, able to sort things out. It's called for a handball. I don't think the referee's going to give it. Oh, wait a minute. VAR checking possible penalty. I did not know there was VAR in the Scottish FA Cup. Oh, no handball. Took 10 seconds to check that. Absolutely brilliant. In the Premier League, that takes 20 minutes. There's the cross for Rangers. And again, Queen's Park have dealt with it. It's Queen's Park. Chance for him, he skipped straight past him. And it's in the back of the net. Wow, I feel like that's the first chance Queen's Park have had all game. Absolutely crazy. I feel like that's the first shot they've had a target all game. Rangers in the first half had the majority of the chances. It just wasn't materialising. Rangers just haven't been good enough this game and they've been punished. Queen's Park are in the lead. Fair play to Queen's Park. I mean, they took their chance. I said that if they get one chance and it goes in, they can win this game, and they've took it. Rangers are under the cosh now. As you can see, 15 minutes to go in a cup tie. There's already Rangers fans on the way out. A big chance for Rangers. So they're scared to shoot. And it's straight over the bar. And now for the second time of the game, the VAR goes. Is it going to be a penalty? And of course, again, it's not a penalty. I expected some sort of derby game today between two of Glasgow's most historic clubs, but I didn't expect the game to turn out like this. Well then, 5 minutes of added time, 5 minutes for Queen's Park to cling on, but 5 minutes also for Rangers to try and salvage something and stay in the Scottish Cup. Obviously a little bit more time wasting from that Queen's Park goalkeeper as well. Ibrox is pretty much empty at this point. One final chance for the home side. Ready to cross. It's a penalty. Rangers have got so lucky here. I've no clue how. I thought he headed out for a corner. It's VAR. Well, the final kick of this Glasgow Derby, James Tavernier steps over the ball. Here's Tavernier. And he saved it. The scenes in the Queen's Park end. How often does James Tavernier miss a penalty? And it's gone back to VAR now. Possible goalkeeper movement. VAR has controlled this game, I tell you. It's a corner. It's a corner. The Queen's Park fans go mental. There's a pyro. This corner could well and truly be the last kick of the game. And he's tipped it over the bar. And there's the full-time whistle. Boos from Ibrox. Wow. Wow, what a historic win for the away side, but these home fans are not very happy, and to be honest, I really do not blame them. I'll be honest, I do watch a lot of Scottish football, and I do watch a lot of Rangers, especially in European games, and they've never ever looked that bad. Even against Man United a few weeks ago, I thought they really held their own. I don't know what it was today. Even Tavernier missing a penalty. How often does James Tavernier miss a penalty? A massive win for Queen's Park, but things just aren't right here at Ibrox. It's been expressed for weeks with the manager and the board, and I think today highlights that.